2 years ago, we faced a strategic moment in the life of our church. We had momentum, we celebrated our 10-year anniversary, and ministry was booming, but our leadership felt like it was time to refocus before we took major next steps in ministry. And that refocus was really about the heart. It came in the form of a question. What is the deepest desire of your heart? Sure, God has blessed our church and our lives, but sometimes we have to ask, do we love the gifts more than we love the giver? We want to be like the tree in Psalm 1, planted by the stream, who is constantly satisfied in that which it was created to long for. We were created to long for God. We were created to find our ultimate satisfaction in Him. Is that our deepest desire? 10 years in, we wanted to declare, God, you are the deepest desire of our hearts. We want to say like the psalmist does, that God, better is one day in your courts than 1,000 elsewhere. We pant for you like the deer pants for the water. And God, we believe that in your presence is the fullness of joy. So at the end of 2022, we set a goal as a church. The number one goal, the priority in this initiative, was to see every single person who calls Mercy Hill home engage with that question. God, are you the deepest desire of my heart? And then from an overflow of their heart, give in a way that shows it. When the roots go deep into God, the fruit in our lives goes wide. So that goal really had two components, okay? First, we wanted to see 100% engagement in giving ourselves away in time, talent, and treasure. The second goal was that we would raise $30 million over the next 2 years to specifically take ministry steps in 3 buckets. The first bucket would be that we would go deeper in the ministry for the triad and the world. Basically, that meant to run hard with the vibrant ministries that we already have over the course of the next 2 years. Well, over the last 2 years, y'all, the fruit has been just unbelievable. Related to that first bucket of ministry, the ministry grew exponentially in many areas. Since the start of Deeper in December of 2022, we have seen 6,893 people stop by our first-time guest tent. We've seen 427 baptisms. We've had 812 people go from connected to the crowd to committed to the family as they have moved through our weekender process. We've also seen incredible things happening in places like Mercy Hill and Espanol. Their attendance continues to increase. And of those over 400 baptisms that we've had as a church, 40 have come from Espanol. I also think about what God is doing over the summers at Mercy Hill. I mean, mission trips. This past summer, our first student summer project, city project, college students plugging in left and right. Maybe the highlight for me, though, was this past summer, seeing our church surpass 1,000 kids at Kids Week for the very first time. This is a milestone in our church. We saw 1,022 kids come to Kids Week this past summer with over 700 volunteers. And hey, over 200 of those kids came from families that we have no record of ever coming to anything Mercy Hill has ever done. Undoubtedly, some of them heard the gospel for the very first time. Since the start of Deeper, we've seen 519 people sent out from Mercy Hill on short-term mission trips around the globe. And this year alone, the gospel has been shared by people from our church in 18 different countries. Our church has quadrupled our international short-term sending and doubled our international long-term sending just this past year in 2024. Short-term sending drives our long-term efforts. And since December of 2022, we've sent 19 individuals out long-term, get this, with another 19 adults who are currently in our sending pipeline. In the past year, our sending to the 1040 window has also doubled. Y'all, the 1040 window is home to some of the least reached people in the whole world. It takes 2 years for someone to go from called to sent, so we're really just on the front end of seeing what God is doing in terms of long-term sending fruit. People are coming in and they're going out, and this is incredible stuff, all right? So that's that first bucket of ministry, going deeper in the ministry. The second big bucket of ministry is going deeper into multiplication. The step for us right now means building a new home and hub for ministry in the triad over the decades to come. Y'all, I'm actually sitting in that building right now. Y'all, we are so close to seeing this project finish and moving into our broadcast campus that'll be our new home and hub. And it's going to enable us to do so much, to see new people come in and check out what God is doing here. And our prayer is that they go from connected to the crowd to committed to the family. This is going to be a place of restoration, healing. We're going to plant campuses and churches. It's going to be incredible. Hey, that third bucket of ministry was deeper into the mission. This is the bucket where we're asking God for greater impact in new areas of mission. Things like church planting, foster care, and adoption. We have a vision for a worship academy that our church plants can be sent with full bands and production teams in the future. And I also can't wait to share with you a major development that is coming in this third bucket. I'm not going to tell you until the celebration of Deeper at the end of this series, but I promise you this, you are going to be absolutely blown away away at God's favor and kindness and what he's doing in our church. Listen, you may have been here for years and years, or you may be very new on this journey, but every single one of us can ask the question, is God my deepest desire? And how is that reflected in my life and specifically in my giving? So as we wind down the Deeper Initiative, we're gonna ask everybody in this season to pray, to plan, and to participate. Ask God, what would you have me do? As I said earlier, our goal is 100% engagement. You gotta ask the question, God, what part do you want me to play? Then we need to plan. What can we do? What sacrifices can we make? God, we don't just want to give 10%, we want to steward 100% of what you have given to us. And that will look different for everyone in our church, but there is a place for all of us to pray, to plan, and finally to participate. Listen, Jesus didn't die to create spectators. We were made for moments like this. How will you leverage your giving to see God do more than we can ask or imagine? Church, I hope you're ready to finish out one of the most important seasons in our church's life. Y'all, it's time to get going. The thing's not over yet, but we're in the fourth quarter. The reality is we're not quite there. There's still time on the clock, but he has prepared us and equipped us and called us to answer the bell in moments like this. Is God your deepest desire? And if so, what steps should we take for his mission?